What is a good blue belt to me? Well, to me a good blue belt is somebody who doesn't quit, who is self-motivating, who has just a personal drive. I think as long as you're showing up and giving some effort, you're going to do fine. But it's important to be able to motivate yourself to show up, especially at blue belt.
So I think the answer for the combatives answer, like that the Gracies would like to hear, is that you can handle yourself in the street. In other words, for people that have bad temperaments, the people that mean to do harm, you can diffuse those situations, you can protect yourself. For me, I think a good blue belt is someone that can help the white belts and can hold their ground with the higher belts, and who's willing to stick it out at that point, because I think that's the point where in my case, you have an injury and you've been going really hard all the time, and it starts to wear on you, and the excitement starts to wear down, and you realize it's more of a long-term activity, and you gotta change some things or whatnot.
To me, a good blue belt is someone who can chain stuff together, has a recognition of almost every position. They just flow, they feel good, they know what they're looking for, and they're starting to really develop their own game that sets them apart from other people.
How has BJJ helped me in my life? Well, I think the main thing that BJJ has helped me with is becoming humble, or being more humble. Before I started BJJ, I had some background in some traditional martial arts, like a lot of people do before they start BJJ, a little bit of boxing. And I'd always felt pretty confident in my fighting skills. When I was younger, unfortunately, I got in a number of fights and did pretty well. I thought I was a pretty good fighter. And then I came in here, and a middle-aged woman, middle-aged mother, half my size, just completely destroyed me. So it definitely has created a sense of humility in me. It's made me better aware of who I am and who other people are too.
It's a tremendous part of my life. I mean, I've based my college decision off of trying to stay around here and train, and you know, like, if I didn't do jiu-jitsu, I really don't know what else I would be doing, you know, on weeknights and stuff. So definitely a very, very big part of my life, and no regrets about it.
All right, so personally, it's helped me with, I think, my temperament. It's helped me with social interaction with friends. So when I first started, I just did this mainly socially. It was just, I also had a fire in me, because I had wanted to go to States as a wrestler, and I missed out on my wrestling my senior year. So there was something inside me that said, hey, you got to go win something that says you have a state title. Because I knew I felt like I had already earned it in my mind, or with the work I put in, I just wanted to go get that. And in the meantime, I just wanted to pick up a lot of friends. So it's helped me with social things. And then also, there's a lot of other things I wasn't expecting. You know, like it helps with, it definitely helps with your, like, I don't want to say courage, but it makes you feel a little more confident. Or at least genuinely confident.
So when I was promoted to blue belt, it was with a number of other students. They generally like to do colored belt promotions all together, generally in like a seminar setting. So there's a lot of people there. I kind of expected it simply because I had kind of put the time in, and I was pretty much ready as far as how much time I had put into the training. I didn't know if I was going to get the promotion or not, and I really didn't feel like I was ready for it. I felt like people that were blue belts were just so much better than I was. So I wasn't going to be surprised if I didn't get the promotion. When I finally did get promoted and they called my name, it was kind of a shock. It was like, well, I guess they feel like I'm ready for it. I wasn't too excited. I always thought I'd be really excited to get my blue belt, but just because of that self-doubt at the time, it kind of took a lot of that excitement away and made me just wonder, should I really have this belt right now?
So I got promoted after the Keystone State Games. I just won my bracket, and Tom stopped me right as I was about to take my gi off and everything. He wrapped the blue belt around me, and it felt great. You know, I felt like I'd been ready for a little while there. But I wasn't expecting it then. I was kind of expecting more like a seminar setting or something along those lines. But definitely one of the better days of my life for sure. It was it let me know that I was, you know, doing well and I was progressing, and that's all that really mattered.
I think I was expecting it because, like I said, I wrestled, and I was always able to kind of grapple a little bit just from what I'd already done. But I didn't expect it to feel like such an accomplishment. So I had started martial arts at least 3 times as a kid. My mother had always pulled me out. And it's her idea that I even wrestled to begin with, so it was kind of weird. But this is the first time I had gone beyond the white belt. So it felt awesome, and it was a huge accomplishment. I just loved it. And when everybody's saying that this art is more like a black belt in other arts, that was also an added bonus, and you definitely feel that. You feel like you can handle yourself. So it was a pretty big accomplishment.
So essentially the blue belt blues is, people say it's like the blue belt curse. Typically when people get their blue belt, they either stop training or they don't come for a couple months, and I don't know why that is. I mean, my best opinion on it's probably that they kind of feel like they've achieved like that next level, and they kind of like deserve a break, or I don't know exactly. Like, I took some time off once I got my blue belt. Like I said, I still train 4 or 5 days a week, and I'm still going strong. But just some people, I guess, just once they get their blue belt, that's it for them. I don't really know how else best to explain it.
All right, I'm the poster child of the blue belt blues because I got injured, and so I'd say for me, the blue belt blues are when you know it's something you love to do. You know you feel better when you go to jiu-jitsu. You know you're gonna get a decent exercise. You know people are gonna challenge you. You're gonna get into arguments with everyone you talk to, and it's just fun. You know you're gonna get into fights with everyone you encounter, and it's ultimately you're still in control, and it's just fun. And but at some point you think, what am I doing this for? Why am I coming in fighting? Why am I getting beaten up? And why am I taking a toll on my body? And that's the blue belt blues. It's when you realize that, hey, this is like a long-term thing if you want to keep going, and there's a long way to go after blue belt. And that's when you reassess. You decide what you're going to do. And I think I'm the poster child for it. I have a knee brace right now, and some other injuries and things like that I have to work around at this point if I want to keep going and continue.
The blue belt blues are something I think a lot of people experience. It seems like a lot of people drop out right around blue belt if they've made it that far. And I think part of the reason for that is that you've put in so much effort, years of training, blood, sweat, and tears to get to the blue belt. And once you are a blue belt, you realize that you're still a beginner. You're still a beginner at the art. You still have so much to learn. And all that blood, sweat, and tears was really just a warm-up. And there's so much more. You've dedicated a lot of your life from your friends and family. Your personal time has been dedicated on the mats, sweating. And it can be overwhelming to come to the realization, like, I'm just really beginning. I have so much more work to do just to become proficient at this art.
Okay, I would say for anybody that feels like they're an imposter at their current belt and they don't feel like they deserve it, I would say that just keep faking it till you make it, and that's all there is to it. As far as imposter syndrome in life, I would say definitely look up to people that you admire, and the higher belt should be somebody to look up to, at least on the mats, and hopefully in other regards. So when you pick your rolling partners, your gym mates and everything, make sure you can trust them, because that type of thing. But yeah, imposter syndrome, just be yourself, and you earn what you earn, and you keep going with it every day. So my advice to anybody that's white belt or blue belt is don't worry about who you feel like you're an imposter of, because if you watch UFC, everyone, which is the ultimate level of this sport, I guess it could be argued, or Metamorphs or things like that, or Opens, that every one of those fighters was learning from somebody else. They probably felt like an imposter for some period of time because they were trying to imitate something, and they're never going to imitate it perfectly. You'd always be where that person was. So it's normal to feel that way, but eventually yourself will come out in the end, your best self. So continue, just keep going hard.
So imposter syndrome is when you kind of feel lower than your rank, maybe a bad day in the gym or something, I don't know. I think I've had it before, especially like I had a tournament yesterday and I didn't do as well as I'd liked, and definitely made me feel like I wasn't progressing or hadn't progressed as much. And it's just one of those days, one of those off days. People plateau and people have their highs and their lows, and just definitely when you're feeling low, for sure.
Imposter syndrome is when you've achieved a rank or position that you don't feel that you deserve. It's very common in the blue belt rank in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You're at a position where you've been training a long time, but there's still so many people that can beat you. White belts can still beat you at times. Most of the blue belts are going to beat you. They've been around much longer and have trained for a much period of time, but here you are at the same rank as they are. So it's very easy to get that. When I first got my rank, for the first month or two, I definitely felt like I had imposter syndrome. But one thing that changed that is I had to come in and remind myself every day that I trust my instructors, that I have full faith in the instructors and their decision to put me at this rank. So by repeating that to myself day after day after day, which I feel is very important to do if you have imposter syndrome, that I trust my instructors, that I have full faith in them. And if I don't have that, I shouldn't be training under them. So to really believe that you are where you want to be and your instructors believe that, I think is important.
Just gotta hang in there, man. Like I said, like jiu-jitsu is a very odd sport. It takes a little bit to get the hang of and to really like enjoy it. And I think once you do that, and once you stick it out and take the beatings from the higher belts, like it's so worth it. Like I said before, like it's a huge part of my life, and it's just all about getting a feel for things and just gotta hang in there, I guess. You know.
What would I say to a white belt who is doubting themselves? I would say, if you're not doubting, then you're not paying attention because you don't know anything. So if you're certain that you know something at a white belt level, you're wrong. And as long as those things last, they're probably gonna not work a little bit later. And anybody that has a blue belt or higher, this is like the motivational speech, but anybody that has a belt that's higher than the white belt and they're rolling with you, they're probably just helping you. So just understand that you're at the bottom of the food chain, and that doubt is normal. And that doubt it's part of showing up. So it's part of life, it's part of everything. So I would say just embrace it, and just make sure that you learn something. Whatever you're doubting, that you learn some way to assure yourself that, yeah, that doesn't work or that does work. And then you can move up, and that's my advice.
If a white belt was doubting himself and his abilities, I would say to him or her to sort of embrace that doubt. There's good reason to not feel overconfident. It's good to feel like you have a lot to learn and to embrace that humility that comes along with that. I would encourage them not to get discouraged, not to be so full of self-doubt that they're discouraged to train. But self-doubt can be good too. If we get overconfident, then we feel like we don't have anything to learn. And if there's one thing in jiu-jitsu there's always room for is learning.
I can do whatever again. How long have you been training?
Well, I gotta start over already.
It's all good, dude. How long have you been training jiu-jitsu?
Jesus Christ. I've been training about 4.5 years. It'll be 5 years coming up this March.